Good morning, everyone. So just a couple of seconds until I hear myself talking over here on one of my previews, and we'll jump on in. How are we all today? I've got another one of my Christmas t-shirts on. We've got the Grinch. I'm definitely the Grinch. Oh, sorry about that. Throat's a bit playing up today, so I'll be drinking a fair bit, I'm guessing. Yeah, I can hear myself talking. Let me just turn that down. So how's everybody going? Already got some people in the comments. Let's jump on over. So we got hello to Donna, hello to Marie, and a big hello to Blonde Skills 1. Welcome to you all so far today. Don't forget, keep adding stuff in the chat. I love to get the chat. Part of what I enjoy about this is the interactivity. So being able to chat to people. Find that I do sometimes have problems on my Mac with the chat. So I've got it running on my iPad, which is where my preview is. So that's why I keep looking over to the side. Because as I see things coming in, I can hopefully try and do some funky magic over here to try and get it to show up. It's a bit of a pain. I don't know why this does what it does. What I end up having to do is refresh it every so often. Let's try doing that refresh now. And so we've got Aries, Handy Mert, welcome to you. And welcome to John. So let's jump on in. What I thought I'd do today, this is a little bit where I'm hoping to get a lot more information from yourselves. Coming to the end of the year. So like most people, the end of the year, it's a good time to reflect and to start thinking about what you want to be doing in the next 12 months. And really, looking at what can you do differently, what can you carry on doing, what's not working, what is working. And that's something I do every year. It's a good time, so I spend most of December reflecting. And then I come up with my theme for the following year. And also, start planning and putting into action stuff that I want to do. So what I thought we'd talk about today is, what do you like to see in a YouTube video? So I've been doing these videos now for 2 or 3 years. I also watch a number of other people, a number of other people's videos. What I'd be interested in is, what is it that you want to see? So are there things you'd like me to tweak? Not guaranteeing I'm going to change it or do everything that's suggested, but at least it starts giving me ideas on where I'd like to go. So we've got BJ joined us. Let me just, there you go. Welcome to BJ. Blonde Scales 1. Replacement part for the furnace was bad, so still no heat. Maybe next one will work. Oh, and this is the worst time of year, isn't it? I know you're in the winter over there in the US. Over here, it's weird over here. Summer starts on the 1st of December, so we're officially in December. We're officially in summer now. Whereas most of the rest of the world, the season change happens on the 21st of the month. So Australia, just to be different, we do it on the 1st of the month. Been having a few warm days, had a few cool days now. But I think it was yesterday's increment video, day 9. The day I recorded that, we were at like 38 degrees, and I record using my iPhone, which I've got set up here. This is the actual setup I use for the recording, and my poor old phone overheated. It was that hot. So partway, I think it's the day 9 one, it's very jerky. There's lots of jumping around. It's not because the phone was moving. What it was is, it was so hot the phone was losing frames, and it was getting worse and worse and worse as I went on. And then it got to the point where the phone just died on me. So that's why the end of it is just some photos that I took afterwards. So anyway, coming back, what would you like to see in YouTube videos? What are the things that you look for when you're watching a YouTube video? Hi to Anita. Welcome to you from Florida. Let me just refresh the screen again. Hi to Ala Rose. Mr. Christmas hat. I can sort that out very quickly. The hat was just over to the side. I'll only put it on for a few seconds. There we go. Got the Christmas t-shirt and my Christmas hat. Can't keep the hat on for too long because I sweat that much. But it's there for you anyway. Let's just do another refresh. Right, let's take the hat off for a bit. I'll pop that back to one side. There you are. I'll wait. If I put it on here, will you be able to see it, or does my fat body block it? No, I block it. Let me just move stuff around in the office. There you go. I popped it up there to the side. Blonde scale's 1. Only good thing is I'm in southern US, so not as cold as my brother in northern Ohio. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know in the UK, obviously I used to live in the UK, and it was the Gulf Stream which would keep the UK quite warm or warmer. And certainly, living over here in Australia, our winter, I know my wife used to go back to the UK for a holiday each year in June and July, so right in the middle of our winter. And the temperatures here were the same as the temperatures in the UK, and it was summer in the UK. So we don't really get cold winters now, although we do feel cold. Let me just refresh. Yeah. So, John, only suggestion, more demos of pen cases and random EDC items. Absolutely awesome idea. So, demos of pen cases and a random EDC. I do have one pen case already lined up. It was one of the items that came in my Inkvent ones. To be honest, I didn't realise it until I've looked in more detail, and my wife certainly didn't realise it. It's actually not a pen case. She bought it from a charity shop, and it's I've got it planned to talk more, but when I was doing a bit of background on it, it's actually for holding yogurts. But it looks like it's going to be perfect for my pen cases, so I will be doing one of that. I've asked my wife to do me the pen roll that I showed the other day or the other week. I've asked my wife to do a different one each month for me, so that's something which we'll be able to look at. I've got my Galen leather one. I've never really shown off the one that I keep most of my pens in, so certainly there's a number of different videos I can do, so that's awesome. I've made a note of that, so when I start doing the planning for next year, I can include some of them. Aries. Ink history around the world would be a nice idea, starting with Australian Aborigines inks we can use with dip pens. I'm not really a big ink person, so that's actually going to be quite interesting. So, ink history around the world used with dip pens. Start with Aborigines. I've made a note of that one. These are awesome ideas. That's going to be quite interesting. I don't know how I can do that one. That's going to be quite a good one, because I like researching stuff, so that's going to give me a chance to really research. Hardest part is, chances are I'll need to work out how to get hold of some so I can demo it. Swatch party of favourite brown inks. Swatch. Yep, that's a good idea. I've made a note of that as well. Let me just try and make a bit of room here. I was resting my keyboard on my iPad's keyboard, and it was just going mental. Okay, so that's a good one. I love brown inks. It's one of the things that really surprised me. If you'd have told me before I got back into fountain pens that I'd love brown inks virtually better than most other colours, I'd have said nah. Amazing how they've grabbed me. So that's that. So what? And then in-depth review of different notebooks. Yeah, that's a good idea. I know I do very quick ones of some notebooks. In-depth review of various. So my wife's got me a couple of notebooks for part of Inkvent. We've already seen them. So I can do a bit of a deeper dive into those. That's a brilliant idea. Any other ideas as we're going along, please drop into the chat. If you're watching this after the live, please drop any thoughts into the comments. You know, it's going to be brilliant to try and build up a list. And if you think of any time, you know, you can drop them into the comments in any video. I read all the comments, or, you know, send me an email. My email address is youtube@eves, eves.id.au. I mean, it could be anything at eves.id.au because they all redirect me. But by putting YouTube, what that does, that I've got some filters so it gets into the right place so that I can see it quicker. So, yeah, any ideas, as we're going along, please shout out. So what we'll do, we're going to try and have a quick one today. I bet we don't. We'll swap on over. So I've just moved on over myself. Here we've got the camera. So I use my iPhone. Let me just slightly turn this around because we're slightly askew. So the pens I've been using this week. The one I've been using every day, so when I do my own personal comments, when I'm doing my writing practice, this is the Visconti Breeze. This was the cheapest Visconti pen I could find when I wanted to look at Visconti. It was still a lot of money. I think Visconti pens are quite expensive. Not sure. Some of them are worth it. I quite like this. You know, it's very basic looking. But I do like this colour. It's called Blueberry. You know, we've got quite a lot of different things going on there. It's a smallish nib. It's a steel nib. This one's a broad. And it's a cartridge converter. Looks like I've got about another week's worth of ink left in there. So this is the Visconti Breeze. Got a broad nib. And you're looking at $163. This is one of the things. Again, drop a comment, drop a chat. I generally try and quote prices. Is that something you find useful? I know that they're in Australian dollars. I'd like to do it in different currencies, but because the currency rate fluctuates, you know, I could record it at one price and then 2 days later it'd be completely different. That's why I just stick with what I pay, which is Australian dollars. But yeah, do you find that price useful? The ink is by Diamine and it's Bliss. So it's one of the Inkvent inks. I think it was the 2022 day number 1 from memory. Nice blue colour. Reminds me a lot of Aqua Lagoon and a little bit of Marine. The Marine's a bit greener though, but it's a very nice colour. So that's one I've been using every day. So next up, we've got the Conklin All-American. Now, I'm not sure. I think the ink I've got... Oh, yeah. So I now understand why. So when I used this on Sunday last week, it had Diamine Spiced Apple. But that ran out, so I changed the ink. Remember, we actually talked about this last week, and I asked for suggestions. So I took the most popular one that was suggested, and that's what I filled it with. So, beautiful cut. This is the Courage model. A bit of red staining from the previous ink because the converter leaked. What I've done is I've swapped it for the converter on the wooden All-American I've got. That leak seems to have stopped, so I think it was something to do with the converter. As you can see, it's a green ink now. There is still some red staining, so what I'll do, once this green ink has run out, I'm going to really pull it apart, and then I'm going to put it through my ultrasonic cleaner, maybe put a bit of dish soap or something like that in there to try and get rid of this staining. The nib it comes with, so there's a Conklin nib on there. I like the black of this. It goes well with the gunmetal of the trim. I'm saying black, maybe it is that gunmetal colour. So this is a Conklin All-American. It's also with a broad nib. Price wise, 194 Aussie dollars. The ink, Diamine, because all my inks are Inkvent inks, and this is Appletini. Beautiful shading that I'm seeing in this. So this was, as I say, Sunday's pen. It was also the pen that I used yesterday. And that's why my brain was looking at this and it was saying spiced apple. And I was thinking, no, it's not. It's green. And now I can remember why. Another one that I've changed to the ink in. So Monday of last week, I was using this. This is the Bennu Talisman. Beautiful one. This is Dragon's Blood. This pen screams Christmas to it. My poor brain's not working today. This pen screams Christmas to me. You know, we've got the sparkly green, the sparkling red. That's like the tinsel, isn't it? And I forgot the name of it. It's that stuff that you sprinkle on that's really shiny. I can't remember the name of it. Kids love to use it. Glitter, that's it. Don't they? Kids love to put loads of glitter on stuff. So, yeah, definitely a Christmas one. Another one, cartridge converter. I've changed the ink. I actually just changed this morning because this ran out when I was doing my writing this morning, because this is today's pen as well. So I've got to bear that in mind. We've got the Schmidt nib. This is a broad nib. Beautiful pen. I love the feel of this pen. It's just so nice. So this is the Bennu. Just give it a bit of a shake because there's a shimmer ink in here. Talisman. It's got a broad nib on it, and this was 230 Aussie dollars. The ink in here, so when I was using it on Monday, it was Diamine All the Best, which is the 2021 Day 25 ink. I've changed it, as I said, so obviously it's still Diamine, but this is now Best Wishes. This is the 2022 Day 25 ink, and I'm struggling with this. I've only been using it today, so I'm going by memory. So I can see some, there's a bit of like a red sheen to it, but there should also be some shimmer, and I can't really see that. Let me just do a nice scribble. So I need to see how I go with this, see if I can get any of that shimmer to come out. So Tuesday's pen. That was the Monteverde Ritmer. Beautiful pen. Nice weighty size to this. Magnetic cap. Can you hear that click? Very nice. Nice fit in the hand. Another cartridge converter. Still got plenty of ink in this. Let's just seal that up. The section, it's all the same width. It's also all metal, and I do find this can be a bit slippy. I hold my pen down near the bottom, so it's not too bad. So we've got here a Monteverde. And this is the Ritmer. And surprisingly, it's a broad nib. This was 92 Aussie dollars, so we've come down in price a bit. The ink, it's Diamine. And it's mistletoe. Mistletoe. And I think the ink is quite a good match for this body. This is the olive colour. I did try olive swirl in this, which was also an Inkvent ink. But it's got, I can't remember if it was a chameleon or shimmer. To be honest, I call chameleon shimmers as well. With shimmer inks, it doesn't get on with them. It blocks all the time, and I have really major flow issues. But with this mistletoe, which is standard, had no issues with it. So we're up to Wednesday now. There we had the Skullkill. So this is the Narwhal Skullkill. This is Popita Navy. Piston filler. We've got a piston window there. Personally, I do find it a little bit small. That's just me. I know I'm being extremely picky, and I say this about a lot of inked windows. I would have preferred it to be double the width. I mean, it's usable, but I sometimes hold my eyes, so I need to squint a little bit. Got the Narwhal nib. There we go. It's easy to change these nibs. Not on this one. I haven't done it on this one, but I've got another Skullkill where I've just swapped the nib, and I've now got a Yoho nib in there. So this is a Narwhal or Narvalur. I spelled that wrong. Narvalur, that's better. Skullkill. This has got a medium nib. This is another one, 92 Aussie dollars. The ink in here, Diamine. Ruby Blues. This one's a sheening ink. We'll give it a couple of minutes, then we'll come back and look to see if we can see the sheen on that. So that's the Schuylkill. Thursday's pen, this is one that I like. Just agitating it because it's got shimmer ink in here. This is the Retro 51 Tornado. This is the Lincoln model, and it's like a coppery colour. Very nice. As you can see, it's aging up as I'm using it. We're seeing bits of black coming in there. Or as my wife would call it, it looks mucky. So let's open this up. Another one, cartridge converter. Not that much ink. Once this has run out, I'm not going to refill this pen. We're getting towards the end of the month now, so I want to start running the pens down a bit. The main reason I changed the ink in that Bennu, I absolutely love this Bennu. I want to use it all the way through to the end of December. So I thought, yeah, let's get another ink in there. Now, I do have occasional problems. When I haven't used this for a few days, the nib does seem to dry out. I'm putting that down to it being a shimmer ink. I need to try this pen with a non-shimmer, but I like this vintage copper in here because that's the ink. So we've got a Retro 51 Tornado 1.1 stub nib. I do like stub nibs. Price wise, let me just get to my notes, 115 Aussie dollars. The ink, Diamine, vintage copper. It's another one where I'm just going to go and see if we can get anything coming out as it dries. So it's a very nice pen. I do like this stub nib. What I'll do once this is empty, I'll pull out the nib and feed. I'll give the whole pen a really good clean, and then that'll go away and hopefully come out later on in the year. Then the final pen. So this is the pen from Friday, because yesterday, as we've already seen, was the Continental All-American. This is the Ranga Santa, another Christmas pen. Another one, every Christmas I'll be pulling this out because I just think, look at that. Isn't that just, red and white? That's Santa through and through. Or certainly what we think of as Santa. I just realised I've been leaving that comment on that. Let's remove the comment. There we go. I will come back to the comments in a second. Another one, cartridge converter. This one can be eyedroppered. No intention of doing that. This one, if it runs out of ink, I'm not certain yet if I'll refill it. I say we're getting towards the end of the month. I know it's only the 10th, but I record normally about the 20th or 21st. So by the time, 10 days time, this will be empty. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'll refill it or not. So here we've got the Ranga Santa. It's another one with a 1.1 stub nib. So we're getting a little bit of issues there. So again, it's got a shimmer in it, so I don't know if that's what's causing the issue. Price-wise, this was $145. No, this was 145 Aussie dollars. The ink is Diamine, and it's all the best. So this was 2021's day 25. Beautiful nib. This is a Yoho nib on here. That's one nice thing with Ranga. The range of choice that they've got for nibs is amazing. Well worth looking at. So just a very quick look to see if we can see anything. So if it's got the Bliss and Appletini, they're both standard inks. Wouldn't expect to see anything. With the Best Wishes, Best Wishes, I can see, hopefully you can see that coming through. We've got red sheen. We've got like a tealy type base colour. Certainly here where I've done that scribble, we can there see that green shimmer or green chameleon. I'm not sure which one it is. It's one or the other, isn't it? I can see a little tiny bit in my writing now, but it's just a case of getting the light right. Mistletoe was another standard. The Ruby Blues, again to my eye, not sure if it comes over on the camera. I'm seeing loads of red sheen coming through on this. Let me just try and just different angles just to see if it'll come through on the camera for you. I certainly can't see anything on my preview. With the vintage copper, so we've got this beautiful coppery colour. You can see here where I've done the scribble, there's quite a bit of like a goldy, or maybe you might want to call it a coppery type shimmer there. But another one, I don't see much in my writing. But it did seem quite dry because it had been a few days since I used it. Then All the Best, so we've got that like dark, I want to call it like a dark burgundy base. Over that, we've got this gorgeous green shimmer, or green sheen, should I say. Now, again, I'm not seeing it, but in some of my writing, I do see a blue shimmer to it. So they're the pens that I've been using this week. Let's move on over. See the edge of the camera here. And let's refresh these comments. We'll go through the comments again. So hopefully this will work. Yeah. Oh, got quite a few. Anita Belton just got a nice cigar box with 10 velvet dividers. Awesome. Do you know, we don't seem to have much like that over here in Australia. I know, is it Chris Sains? She was saying that she got her a number of her boxes from like a tobacco shop, like cigarettes. Today's mug is a Marvel mug. We've got black and white drawings there of a number of the Avengers. BJ, browns have moved into my favourite colours, and I love to see some different ones to try. Yeah, I'm hoping there'll be some nice browns in this Inkvent. Past couple of years, there's been a couple of nice browns that I like. I quite like Pick Me Up. It's scented ink, very, very wet ink. And that's brown with like a nice green sheen. I do still have a bit left of it. I think I might have to use that again soon, because I quite enjoyed that. I've got more into some of the paler browns at the moment, so things like Robert Oster Cafe Crema and Diamine Tobacco Sunburst are two that I'm really enjoying. Donna, I'm new to fountain pens. I need to learn about nibs, so let me make that. That's a good idea. So details about nibs. You know, maybe looking at, you know, different manufacturers. So that's why I've done a couple of videos now. I think the last one was a couple of weeks ago where I looked at 6 medium nibbed pens, and I tried to get quite a different range. So I had Japanese steel, I had a Japanese gold. I can't remember what other ones there were, but I tried to get a good mix of pens to compare against. Blonde Scales 1, have you ever thought about exploring dip pens? To be honest, not really. I've got, this is my tray which sits behind me. So I've got my Serendipity dip pen. This has got a Yoho Broad on it. I've also got this. You can see how bad it is. It's all rusted. This is a Quaker pen. I got it to explore like a flex nib, but really did not like that. I've got a couple of Parallels. Although they do take ink, I tend to use them as a dip pen. And then I'm not sure what case they're in, but I do have a couple of glass dip pens that I've got over time as well. So explore dip pens. What I'm doing is I'm typing these all into my reminder system so I can then look at them in a little bit. Tom Morley, yes, different dip pens. BJ, the Inkvent writing is done with a dip pen. Yeah, so that's done using that Serendipity. That's done using that Serendipity dip pen. I don't think he's making them anymore. I think he's stopped making pens out completely. It was James Ferris, I think. I'm not sure if it's RRISS or FE1IISS. I know there's 2 S's at the end. And what I do is I tend to always use that pen when I'm doing my ink reviews. So it's a standard pen. The problem with dipping is I do find that, like when I'm doing my swatches, it's hard to be 100% scientific, so sometimes you might get more on than others, so that's just something to be aware of. Blonde Scales 1, yes, Bliss was last year. I thought it was. I remember when I did it, it was, wow, this is a beautiful colour. Blonde Scales 1, I know he's the reason I ended up with my Serendipity. Let me just refresh this. Then Serendipity dip pens are really nice. John, do all the Conklin pens have a large block of text on their name and address stamped on the side of it? The All Americans do. other ones don't. So the Durograph doesn't, but the All-Americans, this is like part of their design language. So as you can see there, I'm not sure if that'll focus in. This one is a limited edition, so you've got the limited edition details on there. I've got a wooden version, which also has got the name stamped on. I don't know about other than this one and the Durograph, but I don't think they do. I think this is the only one with it stamped on. Simply Orbs. Hey, y'all, spotty internet. I'll catch up. Yep, don't worry about that. I know what you mean by spotty internet. Here, most of the time it's not too bad, but I did have a period where I kept losing the internet. And what had happened is water had flooded the box in the street and damaged the box. And every time we had a power cut, which is actually quite frequent here, it would not connect properly. And I'd had NBN out for over about 6 months, and they kept saying, no, it's your house. So I'd actually had all the cabling replaced in the house 3 times. Even then, they wouldn't accept it was a problem with them. Then my neighbour rang them, and I don't know why, I don't know what magic words he must have said, but they came and replaced the box, and it's not been too bad since then. Still have to be careful, though, when we get a power outage. Tom, the Dragon's Blood is a great pen. It is. It's my only Bennu. I'm toying with getting the, I want to call it the whiskey one, which is brown. But problem with a lot of Bennu pens is there's a lot of bling on them. I do like the look of the Christmas one. I've seen it on Cult Pens, but it was $370. I know it's hand painted. I know it's worth every cent. Just can't justify that sort of money on a pen. Ricardo. Yes, please continue with the prices in your currency. They're useful. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. It's just, I say I'm just reviewing what I'm doing, and I think it's worth asking the question. We should always be questioning what we're doing, asking why are we doing this? Is it adding value? Because if something's not adding value, why are you doing it? Jacob or Jakob, I'm not sure. Hopefully one of those pronunciations will be right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to you. Just going. Alia Rose. I've got best wishes in my Kakuna, and the shimmer shows up decently. Yeah, this is really literally. I only ended up about an hour and a half ago, so I need to explore it more. Usually, I find with that Bennu pen, I don't have problems. So I think it's just. Now I say we can see some on here, so it might just be the fact I've got such bright lights in here that I'm not seeing it. Considering what those Bennus are in US prices, ouch. Yeah, Bennus are very expensive, or some of them can be. I can understand the reason why. I say, the Dragon's Blood, when I saw that one, it just jumped at me. It was, I've got to have that. That's a Christmas pen. And it's not overly blingy, whereas a lot of the other ones you see, wow, there's just so much bling on them for me. Have the new Conklin Lemon Zest. It's there, but it's hard to see. So I'm assuming, is that Lemon Zest, is that an all-American model as well? I'm not overly up on the various Conklin models. Tom Morley, hello, got your letter. BJ, let me just refresh these so I can actually read what it's saying. Here we go. If you like dip pens, pick up a, oh my lord, Takikawa comic nib holder. They are amazing for $6 US. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things, if you think about it, with all fountain pens, all they are is their glorified nib holders, because it's the nib that does the work. Everything else is just feeding it to it. Tom, what about the new Sailor dip pens? Tom, I love Ruby Blues, lots of sheen, but relatively well behaved. Yeah, it is a nice one. I'm surprised I've still got some left, but I've got a number of inks where it's essentially blue with red sheen, and certainly this Ruby Blues, very, very nice. Alia Rose, let me just move this up so I can read the whole comment. I'm autistic and my husband thought I had a weird new stim, but no. I was just stopping every so often to agitate the shimmer in my pen's ink. It must indeed look odd to us. Yeah, that's one of the things, especially like with this one. I'm sitting here going like this, and if my wife walked in, because I do have a I don't know what, my hand shakes a lot, especially when I'm not doing anything with it, if it's just laying there. So maybe she's thinking it's my hand shaking again. But yeah, you've got to keep agitating it because otherwise it just does not seem to flow very well. BJ, I've got to pronounce that word again. Let me get this here. My Takikawa with a pilot medium nib in it is a dip pen experience with a fountain pen feel. Will Hodge, hello all. Sorry, don't ever worry about being late. Nice to see you. Good to join us. One of the things I'm asking, again, either drop a comment in the chat or in the comments. What do you like seeing in YouTube videos? Doesn't have to be just what I do, but from what other people do. What would you like to see that no one's doing? This is my end of year time when I'm reviewing what I'm doing. So I'm trying to get ideas for what I can do differently, how I can improve things. Things people just don't like and think, well, no need to do that, Gary. So please let me know because that can all build into my planning for next year's videos. Will, I love stubs. Let me just move this. There we go. I find myself migrating to finer nibs in my fountain pen journey. Fun about the hobby. Your whims can change. Absolutely. So when I started out, it was all fine and extra fine. Then introduced a few mediums, and as time went on, I got into broads. Now I'm into 1.1 stubs. I'm toying with, I wouldn't mind getting a 1.3 stub. I'm saving up because I'd like to get a sailor with a music nib. The sailor I've got is just a medium nib, not a broad nib, but I'd like to try a music nib as well. So there's stuff I'm saving up for at the moment. And certainly that's definitely, and I love the thing you're saying there, it's a journey. Our journey continues, and as we go along any journey, we change what we do, we change what we like. Alia Rose, it's great that there's an option for everyone. Absolutely. I think that's one of the really nice things. It's very inclusive, isn't it? Anita, I've only got one shimmer ink. First pen worked good. Next two wouldn't write. Absolutely. That's one of the things you've got to be careful with. So now, I'm going to fetch out the Ranger where I've got this, where it's got that Yoho nib. What I do now is I only put shimmer inks or chameleon inks into pens that I can easily pull apart. So it's very easy to remove the nib and feed. And what I tend to do is after I've used a shimmer ink in a pen is when I clean it out, I give it my normal clean, which is, with running water. But then I also put it into my ultrasonic cleaner and I run it for 6 minutes. If the water's clean, then it gets put to the one side to dry. If the water isn't clean, I empty out the water, clean out the ultrasonic bath, clean out all the water that's on the pen, then put it in and do another 6 minutes in my ultrasonic bath. Now, I'm not saying that's the best way to do it. I don't know what the best way is, but it works for me. And I find by going through the ultrasonic, it does get deep into the feed. So I think it cleans out any shimmer particles that may have been trapped in the feed. So that might be worth trying. Will Hodge, try Sailor US States series. Maryland is a lovely honey brown with great shading. I think it's the one I've seen a few people use. Is it Texas, which looks quite nice. I will be honest, I don't have any Sailor inks at all. And at the moment I'm on that ink buying freeze. Most of my inks are diamine. There's an idea for a video. So ink I have, where we'll maybe look at the inks that I've got, maybe a bit of a deeper look than what I've done before. BJ, I've had my eye on KWZ honey for a while. Shipping is rough on KWZ. I think it's Penultimate Dave seems to use that KWZ honey quite a bit. Again, just working off memory there. Platinum has great music nibs. I like them better than the Sailor music nibs, which however, are good. So yeah, I might look at the Platinum as well. I'm not really overly fussed on the manufacturer. I just want to explore and see what they're like because, they look quite nice. Alejandra, hopefully I pronounced that right. I would love to see you write with a music nib. and discuss what you think about. Yeah, it's something, I say, it's definitely going to be well into next year because, looking at it, I'm looking about $800 Aussie dollars, and I've got to get my head around, do I want to spend that much on a pen in the first place? That's why I may look, and maybe if I can get a Platinum 3776 with a music nib, maybe that might be a more affordable way to do it. Ricardo, I don't know about Sailor music nibs, but just got last month the Platinum music nib, and it's amazing. So yeah, maybe that's worth looking at. So Platinum music nib. So I've just made a note of that. Tom Morley, yes, I love the Sailor 50 States MD, which I'm assuming is Maryland, is that? Let's see, any more comments? Will Hodge, I've got a few gold nibs, but with the quality of steel nibs, it's hard to justify the cost. Pilot makes a nice bouncy gold nib for the buck. So that's an interesting statement there. Not on my list for future lives. I do have a live down where I want to take a quick look at a couple of pens and actually compare steel and gold nibs to see, well, is there a difference? And I thought that might be an interesting one to do as a live rather than as a pre-recorded video. Are there any more comments? Come on, Garry, click the right button. No, so that's all the comments for now. So let's turn over the page. Got my trusty script here. So last week's videos. So Saturday last week, I did my fountain pen focus on the Ranga Santa. I haven't seen this advertised yet this year, but last year it was the 14th of December that I saw the Ranga post about it, and it actually arrived on Christmas Eve. Might actually, I don't know. I'm not sure if I might get, if they do advertise it. I will have to look. I might look at another one, but I'm not sure. I mean, how many Santa pens do you really need? But they do have, last year they did have a number of different combinations, so I might think about looking at that. Tuesday's video, so with a Jinhao 100, so that was the meteorite version. We swapped the nib. So I took out the nib and put in a cursive italic nib. First time using a cursive italic, quite liked it. I love the line variation. Obviously, it was recorded a few weeks ago, so I've used it a couple of times since then. Quite nice, had no issues. So whatever I've done, I haven't messed it up because it still writes, and it writes with no hard starts, no skipping or anything like that. Friday, we took a look at two inks. So we took a look at Pure Pen's Chartist series, People's Charter, and we compared that with Diamine Mulled Wine. Both the inks actually made by Diamine. Sorry, my throat's going a bit sore. So that was quite interesting. Yesterday's video over on Tricky Little Questions is an exploration of the Rosetta Stone. So looking a little bit about the history of it and what it was there for. And one of the things that's quite interested me when I was doing this research, yes, the Rosetta Stone was the first one found, but there's been a number of other ones found since then, and they all tie back and build on that same story of, as essentially it's a PR stone. It was there for public relations, primarily for the state religion, but also for the Pharaoh of Egypt at the time. Coming up this week, so this afternoon we've got my December inked pens, shortest one I've done of them all, down to 10 inked pens from 3 months ago when it was over 30. Next month I expect that number to start increasing, mainly because obviously as time goes on I'm inking more pens up for my videos, so it goes up and up. Tuesday, what I've done is I've picked out 5 of my favourite Moonman pens. Now this is one of those ones where if I was to record it again today, chances are it'd be a slightly different lineup. It seems to change. But I thought, yeah, let's look at Moonman, Mahjong, whatever you want to call them. So I've just tried to look at 5 different pens that I really enjoy. Friday, we'll have the halftime report for December. I'm recording that on Wednesday. Really enjoying this month, as you can see there. All the pens, I haven't changed any of the pens, changed a couple of the inks. Very nice month, really enjoyed it. Next Saturday on Tricky Questions, we've got a quiz. It's my December quiz, so there's 10 true or false questions. And then next Sunday, it will be a focus on a Marchon or Moonman M600S. So that's the videos that have been and gone. My book of the week, turning the page over this time because I had to go onto a second page. So I've been reading this week Moving Pictures by Terry Pratchett. Really enjoying it. I love Terry Pratchett books, and I love the way he's like taking the idea of Hollywood. In there, it's this place called Holywood, and there's some like we haven't got as far as the monster being revealed yet, but there's some kind of monster or spirit trying to get through, and it's making everybody want to make clicks, or what we would call movies, and it's compressing the whole history of Hollywood really into like, in their terms, would be a matter of maybe weeks or maybe a couple of months. And the point I'm up to at the moment, they're filming a version of Gone with the Wind, which they've called Blown Away. It's really quite interesting. I'll get that finished during the week, and then also by Terry Pratchett, the next book will be Reaper Man. So we're going back to Death. I think Death is the only character so far that's appeared in every single book. Yes, some of them it might only be for a page or two. Death's one of my favourite characters in the Discworld series, I will be honest. I just find the way he's written is so funny. Let's go back to the comments. So have we got any more comments coming in? Yes, Steel and Gold would be great. And your thoughts? Do you have any Chinese ink? I do, but they're all samples. So I've got a number of, I think I've got 2 left. I did start out with 6 of Ancient Son. There's Seaview, Song of the White something. What were the other ones? I can't remember what the other ones were. But I did have a number of those, quite liked them, but they were only samples. And then I've also got a couple of samples of Pen BBS inks. So I've got Christmas Red and Christmas Green. They're virtually gone now, which is why they're not in a pen at the moment, and that's why I'm focusing on Inkvent. I've also got Chengdu City, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's Chengdu City, which is a nice red colour. But I've got that much. To be honest, the majority of my ink is Diamine. Like 3/4 of my collection is Diamine. And I've got that much I need to use it. BJ, I've always enjoyed watching people's videos on if you could use only or keep 5 inked pens for the rest of your life, what would you choose? If could only 5 for stuff life, what would you choose? I've made a load of spelling mistakes there. I'll correct that later. Yeah, that's a good idea. I do a top 5. I did some top 5s not long ago. So I'm not planning on doing any of those in January. And I think a lot of people do top 5s in January and it gets boring. So what I might do is leave that till later in the year. But that's a good idea, because what your top 5 pens are may be different than the 5 that you'll keep for the rest of your life. Your top 5, you may have some, essentially pretty looking pens, but maybe they're not that practical. Whereas for the rest of your life, certainly for me, I'd be looking more on the practical side. And that's where, things like my 823, beautiful pen, love it. Would it be one I keep for the rest of my life if I can only have 5? I don't think it would. Why? Because I'd be that worried about damaging it or losing it. I wouldn't enjoy using it. Especially when, if it's damaged and you've only got 5, that's it. You're now down to 4. So that's going to be quite an interesting one. So yeah, I've made a note of that. Thank you. Any more comments? So last call for comments. We're a bit short this week. This will surprise my wife. She's used to me going on till like about 9:15, and it's only 9:20. So thank you all. Hope you've enjoyed this. Let me just check to see if there's any more comments come in. I do like the interactivity. I do like to be able to talk to people. That's what I like about these lives. I think that's it. So thank you all. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. As I say, we're a little bit short today, which is in a way good, in a way bad, because I like talking. But if anybody thinks of anything, I say, any ideas for what you'd like me to see me doing differently, different video ideas, what you don't like I do that you'd like to see me do differently, please don't just say, I don't like you doing this. Please say, I don't like you doing this, but you could try this instead. They're the sort of comments I like, where we've got, some constructiveness to them. So please drop your comments. Please hit the thumbs up button. I know I keep forgetting to say this. Every time you like, every time you comment, helps with the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget, membership is available. Head on over to my YouTube page. There's a link there. Really helps me if you can join and support. So all the money that I get from YouTube, it's not a lot, but I do get a little bit of money, goes towards future pen payments. So I've got a little bit saved up because I say I'm looking at a bit more of an expensive pen. I don't think I've got any Chinese pens on order at the moment. That might be something I'll start in the new year. But so please, look at membership. If you can support, would be very much appreciated. So thank you all for your time. I'll do one more quick check for comments. BJ shows what you really enjoy. Donna, great live. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, BJ. Will Hodge, one of my 5 would be a noodler's Ahab, very utilitarian, ebonite feed, and digest shimmer well. Yeah, this is the sort of thing where you've got to really bear that in mind. Will, bye all, be safe. Blonde Scales 1, have a great week. Donna, have a good week, everyone. Jacob, bye, have a great week. Alia Rose, I think that's a cat, might be a dog, I'm not sure. I'm not very good with emojis. So thank you all, and I'll talk to you again soon.